What are you doing? What's up here?
Go on, jump. You smoke crack, don't you? Look at me, boy. Don't you smoke crack? It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells. Now, I say if you want to kill yourself, don't fuck around with it. Go on and do it expeditiously. Now, go on and jump.
You smoke crack, don't you? You pop pills, don't you? If you don't want to live, jump off the roof if you don't want to. Cause I refuse to let you be a deadbeat moving backwards. Just had a student murdered with no money for the casket. So jump off the roof, Sams. Jump off the roof, man. Keep doing what you're doing. That's exactly where you gonna land. Cause death is waiting. So is an inmate number. Your brother's been locked up for the last 3 summers. The streets is telling you lies. Let me tell you the truth. Since they showed you them blocks, I'ma show you the roof. The analogy of a wolf sucking the ice-covered knife that thinks he's quenching his thirst, but he's slowly taking his life. You used to your blood tasting. By the time you awaken, death is around the corner, so jump. But I believe in you. I see the king in you, so I ain't leaving you. You playing with your life, so to the roof is where I'm leading you. I brought you here so you could see your block from the top, to show you that you could see above the plan and the plot. I'm watching every day at the precious lives that the ghetto takes. Talk till I'm blue in the face, but the choice is yours to make. It's jump or fly, live or die, fall or rise. I drop jewels for you to choose and choose your demise. To bring a dream along, make you think it's strong, see the right and wrong. Young boys growing up on the block that they pops was murdered on. Jump or fly, live or die, fall or rise. I drop jewels for you to choose and choose your demise. Don't jump.
All right, Sam, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back on my own word just this once. Let you back into my school. Because you're still a baby and you don't know shit. But you understand this, boy. You're not going to get a moment's rest. I'm going to be on your case. You mess up just once, and you're out of here. Now, you understand me? Going back downstairs.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and this is the Urban Talk Radio 103.5 FM WNHH, where you will hear conversation, information, education, inspiration, and motivation from the American urban perspective. I am your host, Kingsley Ossei. My co-host, Shafiq, hopefully will join us very soon. In the studio today, we have our special guest, Officer Sandy Quinonez from Bridgeport Police Department, Community Services. And today on Urban Talk Radio, you can join the conversation on Facebook at Bold Minds and Twitter at Bold Minds. You could also join me on my Facebook page, Kingsley, Ossei, also on New Haven Independent Facebook page and possibly Bridgeport Police Department Facebook page as well. You can also stream this show on your smartphone or computer by logging on to newhavenindependent.org. Today's topic of discussion will be community policing. And the music that you just heard in the background was from my dear friend, Vice Principal of Warren Hardin High School, Vernon Thompson. And the name of the song was called Jump the Roof, as inspired by the infamous Joe Clark from Lean on Me. In the video from that song also featured one of our alumni of Agents of Change program, Sam. So that video was just him and Sam. Very, very, very powerful music video that you guys should check out. So yeah, that was from Vice Principal Vernon Thompson. Officer Sandy, you familiar with Mr. Thompson? Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you know he did that? You knew he was a rapper, right?
I had no clue.
Man, yes, he's a hip hop artist. I knew him as a hip hop artist back in the 90s, early 2000s, before his whole transition into being an educator.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a very good one too. So it's good to see that hip hop music being so much about trap and drill music and all these other tools that you guys use to do your homework, chasing down these criminals. He make music on the positive side, trying to change lives with, and it really warms my heart. So yeah. I hit him up last night. I'm like, you know what? I do need the MP3 for that music to use it for my intro. When I woke up this morning, he has sent it. So, awesome. So if you don't know now, you know.
Yeah.
You need to. I'm going to send you the video. It's video that you can actually use to do programming, which I use to do programming as well. You know, with Connecticut Against Violence, we pick lyrics from the music, and we use it to do our programming. And
That's awesome.
So yeah, my friend Shafiq just joined in. What up, Shafiq?
What's up, man? I'm downgraded to a friend now.
Oh man, you my brother. You my brother, bro.
Wow. Downgraded to a friend, bro.
I need more of these so I could get my I could get it right.
What you drinking? You drinking espresso? I'm drinking espresso. What you
drinking?
Nah,
I'm drinking hibiscus.
Oh, okay.
Hibiscus raw. Got this.
All right, that's fine, man. Listen, man, just don't slap me with my coffee.
Nah. Well, I won't. I got this from a market in Michigan. You gotta be careful where you buy this hibiscus, because to my knowledge, they do be spraying them.
Do they?
Yeah. Some of them are not. They're not raw. They died. You didn't know that, Officer Sandy, did you?
Did not.
My sister put me up on that. She told me be careful where you buy it, because they do be spraying them.
Oh, that's awesome.
I get mine from Turkey.
There you go. Pure and uncut. So Shafiq, today part of our programming was supposed to be financial literacy, but I thought that I'll give the platform to Officer Sandy of Bridgeport Police Department, because she have an amazing event coming up, and I believe it's this weekend. They have one on April 1st, April 2nd, and April 3rd. So I actually spoke to Lonnie Blackwell. And Lonnie said you need to give him a call. Stop playing games.
Captain Blackwell, man.
Captain Blackwell. Let me get
that man his prop. Man. You know how hard he worked for him.
I told you I'm still getting it right, man. I'm still getting it right.
Yes.
Captain. Well, you want to captain him, you need to give him a call, brother, man.
Yeah, I gotta give him a call. I'm gonna give him a call.
So we decided to give that platform to Officer Sandy, and then also talk about community policing. And the state of where Bridgeport Community Police Department services is, because I don't think people really, not everybody, but know what you guys are doing, and it's very important that
Bridgeport been in the news too. But we have
we stay,
we won't turn the heat up on you but we can't.
Nah, we're not gonna do that.
Can't ignore it though.
Don't turn no
opportunity.
Don't do that. Lonnie did not
do it.
I
know. Shafiq. Yeah, hey, listen.
We're not going to give her the hot seat. She's the messenger. She's just going to take a warm seat.
Dance around it a little bit, though. Dance around it a little bit. Yeah, man.
So, Officer Sandy, before we go in, before we even start talking about what you have coming up, let's get familiar with you. How did you even get into policing to begin with? Tell us your history.
So my history, okay. So my father was a Connecticut State Trooper for 21 years, and I mean, growing up in the house with him, I knew I always wanted to be a public servant, and I always wanted to go into law enforcement. I wanted to go into the state at one point, but when by 4 years old, I knew I wanted to be. So I always put on the big hat, and as I went on high school, I'm sorry, and then I went to Housatonic Community College, got my degree, but my father always said, you're not going into law enforcement. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. He said, I want you to be an attorney or a doctor. I'm like, that didn't happen either. So I tried taking law for a little bit. Couldn't stand it. I was taking corporate law, and it was just not my forte. But I always wanted to be a cop, and I always wanted to help people out, and that's just ingrained in me, my DNA. So I went to them, but I went behind my dad's back. I started taking exams. I took state, New Haven, Capital. Finally, I got letters of acceptance, got out to and got him down. I gave him a letter, actually, that asked everything, the conditional offer. So he says to me, well, why don't you tell me this? And I was just like, because I knew you didn't want me to be a cop. And he goes, no, whatever you want. I just wanted to do something different. So, anyways, he said, I could have helped you along the way, helped you with running, which he did. And with that said, Bridgeport PD came first. They hired me first, and then from there, 2 weeks before graduation, I get the phone call from the state police, and they offered me a job. And at that point, I was just like, yeah, no, not going now. I've done 6 months here, almost 7. I'm good. I'm going to stay with Bridgeport. And I've been here 20 years.
Wow.
And I've done various things in the department. I've done patrol, but the beginning of my career, I started in housing. I did that for a couple years. And then I went into the narcotics world. I did that for a little bit. And then after that, I went and did statewide narcotics.
Oh my God.
So I was involved with stuff back in 2006 with statewide, where fentanyl wasn't as big as it is today. So with that said, from there I went back to when I got out of statewide, I went back to housing, did my little thing there, and then the neighborhood enforcement team came out, which was a strategic team. Mayor would get a phone call, they're either dealing drugs or guns or whatever, so we used to saturate that for about a month, and then we used to go and make arrests or whatever, and then move on to the next location. Then I wanted to be the first. So I became the first female SWAT operative for the city and state. And I held that rank for a long time until recently. But I was very proud. I did that for about 7 or 8 years. And then after I had my son, I'm like, okay, it's time to hang up the Kevlar. It's time to be mom. And then I've been in honor guard, the Bridgeport Police Honor Guard, for 18 years. I'm in charge of it now. And I'm the director of the Explorer program here in Bridgeport. Actually, it's a cadet program now. It's not the Explorers anymore. And I'm also a drill instructor for the cadet police academy up in Westfield State University in Massachusetts. And I'm on their board for that as well. And now I do a lot of the mental health stuff as well with first responders as well as military veterans. So I'm a peer support counselor, as well as I have my certification in crisis intervention with the adults as well as the youth. And I'm a singer. And that's
Whoa. Shafiq, keep this conversation.
Listen, I'm hearing her, man. But I got the tough Bridgeport questions coming now, so you gotta keep it on.
Keep it softball before she run away from us. At least for now.
Seatbelt on, bro. It's coming.
Shafiq, keep it going. Give me a minute. Keep it going.
All right. So, you mentioned something that's really interesting. So, what is your rank? Your current rank is?
I'm a police officer.
Okay. All right. So you're a lifelong. You've always wanted to be, which is really interesting because I have a daughter. And I always wonder what it's like with my children, growing up under a police officer in the house. Like, when does that moment happen? I have one son now; he's a police officer, so I think I can say that he wanted to be a cop since probably 7th grade. So I can relate to that. So, what is it? I don't know what it is with this narcotic thing. Why so many officers, right? So I'm gonna. Your last name is Quinonez, correct? Quinonez, which is. You tell me, what is it? It's Spanish. Yeah. Okay. So we'll say for intent, officer of color. I might call you black cop, but I don't know, right? But that's what I would refer to you as. What is it with cops that come on the job that could be classified as black doing the narcotic thing? What is that about? You know what I'm saying? Like the undercover narcotics and so many officers that I came into contact with, Hispanic, Latino, black officers have often wanted to get involved in narcotics. I understand narcotics was different 20 years ago than it is now.
Yes.
What would be your advice for the young officer coming on? That is, Black, Hispanic, Latino. What's your advice? They want to come on and they're telling you, hey, Officer Q, I heard your story and I want to get into narcotics because I think that's going to get me onto the SWAT team, make me the SWAT commander, and do all these wonderful things that you're doing. What would you tell them?
So, I'm one of those people that I have to try everything until I love something and then I stick to it. And my thing is, if the opportunity is there, take it, because you could add so many things to your belt, to your tool belt, and not to knock patrol, because patrol is the front line. Those are our troops, those are our guys. But if there's something else that you want to do, then go for it. Don't get stuck in the same thing all the time, because
but why narcotics? I mean, I have a bias. I'm against narcotics. I personally, when I was on, stayed away from any undercover narcotics. I did undercover homicide, which was beyond scary.
Yeah.
But I did some undercover burglary stuff with the FBI and things like that. But I stayed away from that. So here's why I'm going to tell you why I stayed away. I always felt that narcotics was a dirty business. That as a police officer, you're going to get your hands dirty to some degree in order to be a good narcotics officer. Whether that is, we call it culpable deniability, looking the other way, whatever, right? So we're not going to disclose the basket here, but you have to have a certain level of, as it said, like moral fortitude and personal control to do it right. And not everybody can do it right. So you might have had the ability to do it right because your father left such a massive positive footprint on you, right? You had a chance to, but for the new officer coming in, in this environment, in this Black Lives Matter, post George Floyd, post January 6th, Stop the Steal environment, does that minority officer, that Black and brown officer, that Hispanic Latino officer, that rookie cop, they're gonna be able to make the right moves?
I can't answer for the new generation now.
Would you tell them to do something different? Hey, dude, don't do narcotics. Why don't you? So that's what I'm asking you. You would say to them, if you're their FTO or their trainer or their advisor or their mentor, and I say, hey, I just got on. Woo, yo, I'm going to narcotics, bro. I'm taking them down. I'm jumping fences. Yo, I'm giving me some. I'll give me some.
After a while, that all takes a toll on somebody. Just like any division, whether it's patrol, narcotics, DV, it'll take a toll on people, and sometimes you have to like reshift to something different or go back to patrol. But sometimes you have to do that. But like with this new generation, I can't really say much about them.
But you have to because you're the senior cop now.
I know. I mean, back in the day, it was completely different from now. Now we have this craziness happening, and sometimes you have to make sure you have that moral, like you said, that moral code, and you hope to be good at what you do and not sway. Me on the other hand, my father did statewide narcotics, so of course I wanted to do it. So whatever Dad did, I wanted to do it.
That's right. Did you want to do it because you wanted to be better than? Did you want to do it so you could be better than him? You'd be sitting around the table, be like, your father be like, yeah, girl, back in the day, I got like 5 bags of heroin. You'd be like, yeah, that's good because I got 5 kilos last night.
Yeah. So we would always do that. We would always compare notes. But I did a little bit more than my dad. Like my dad did statewide narcotics, and then he got shot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he got shot. And then after he got shot, he went to the recruitment unit.
Okay.
And he got shot twice.
Wow.
He was out for a complete year, and then they.
And how's your father? Is he still alive now? He's still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. He still has the bullets lodged in his spine and
Okay.
in one of his thighs, and now
Okay.
because of it, he has cancer from it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
We got to get your father on the show then so he can tell his story.
yeah, he's
You know.
he's not. You know, it's funny because he won't talk to anybody about that story. Little by little, because of my peer support,
Right.
I talked to him about it, and now he's starting to kind of open up even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
I know what he's told me and what I dealt with, because I'll never forget May 2nd, 1985. I'll never forget
Wow.
that day. I'll never forget when the state troopers came to pick me up, to rush me to the hospital. I will never forget that, and that was at school. So, I go to recruit classes, and not only do I teach at here, but I also teach the State Police Academy, and I explain to them, the tactics when you go to that front door. Don't stand in front of that front door. Don't stand in front of that window. Don't do anything, that's opening you up. And unfortunately, my father got hit, and the two FBI agents took off from there. But that's for another story for another day.
Yeah, listen, I know those stories. How you doing? What you heard me say? I done did the undercover game, bro. Shafiq won. Shafiq, you got time to play. Don't worry to my colleagues. I won't write a book about it. But yeah, nah, man. Well, you know what? We're glad that that your father is still around. Yeah. And they talk a lot about PTSD.
Yeah.
You don't even come close to it until you understand things like what your father been through.
Exactly.
Those type of things represent the epitome of what officers deal with in America, because police officers often, unlike the military, they don't send you home and say you're all set. You go to workers' comp, you go to it's a whole bunch of paperwork, and then if you're lucky, the chief calls you and says, "Hey, when you coming back? I know it's been a month.
Yeah.
I know it's been 2 months, but we need you back in the building. We're paying you." So then you get the trickle down effect. All right, Kingsley, I don't want to go hard. I still got these other questions that's gonna
you could say 5 minutes to go hard on her.
Okay. All right, look, here's the deal.
We have to cater to our community right now.
Yeah, listen.
So let me do the station ID, and then we're gonna come back and talk about the upcoming prom activities.
Oh, okay.
This is the Urban Talk Radio 103.5 FM WNHHLP. I am your host, Kingsley Ossei, and my co-host Shafiq is in the building. And if you are just joining us today on Urban Talk Radio, you can join the conversation on Facebook at Bold Minds and Twitter, also Bold Minds, and my Facebook page at Kingsley Ossei, also on New Haven Independent Facebook page, as well as the Bridgeport Police Department Facebook page. You can also stream this show on your smartphone or computer by logging onto newhavenindependent.org. In the studio with us today, we have Officer Sandy Quinonez of Bridgeport Police Department Community Services, and our topic today is community policing. So before we get into the community policing, which is a part of why she is here, Officer Sandy, let's talk about this upcoming prom. You need a dress for your upcoming prom. Join us. We give back to those in need, as every woman should look and feel beautiful when attending her prom. She look as beautiful as Officer Sandy Quinonez.
Wow, dude.
Let's talk about
your wife be watching this show, bro.
My wife loves me for who I am.
Oh man, okay. All right, I'm gonna get to that slap. Hold on, stand by for the slap. 5, 4, 3.
She knows it's enough love to go around, and we must spread it.
Wow, okay, you doing like that too? You throwing invitations out?
All women are beautiful, especially when they walk around with a smile on their face.
Yeah, okay. You trying to clean it up, but I'm wrong. She's like, all beautiful. I have enough love to go around. That sounds like 2 wives.
Hey, you bully me. You bully me with that.
My wife know how he feel. How I feel.
You see, he's bullying me. I go around the school and tell these Latino students not to give up their accent for anybody, because I gave up mine because I was being bullied the way I talk. And then when I went into broadcasting, I said, damn, I wished I never lost a complete accent of my British accent. The value in that British accent in broadcasting, you get dollars.
Well, here's the deal. You know, you could lose yours like I lost mine.
How?
You could get stolen from Africa and be made a slave, not get paid for 500 years, be raped, pillaged, and plundered as a culture, and you will speak just like Shafiq.
Officer Sandy, let's talk about need a prom for your upcoming prom. Let's talk about need a dress for your upcoming prom.
All right. So all my ideas never come at a normal time. All my ideas like to come at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, like me. That's me.
Yeah, so I'm like laying there and I'm like, oh, you know, because I'm always thinking of ideas for the community and for our office. So this one came up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I ran with it. I came to that same day, that morning I came, spoke to Captain Blackwell. I told him, he's like, all right, let's make it happen. I'm like, okay. I put together a flyer, January 20th. Actually, that wasn't the flyer that I made. My co-host did this one, which the other one that I had was kind of okay. This one is beautiful compared to the one I had. Mine was straight to the point. But January 20th, I posted it on Facebook, and my co-host, who does a lot of fundraising events and stuff in Westport. She's from Westport. Anna Razinga, she's amazing. She goes, oh my goodness. She's like, I want to help out. I want to assist you with this. And let me tell you, this thing has become something much more bigger than I anticipated. So January 20th, I posted it on Facebook. People started emailing me, sending me Facebook messages. Oh, I wanna donate. I wanna this. I wanna participate. I wanna volunteer. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then before the end of January, I literally had, I want to say about 500-600 dresses. And I mean, people from Ridgefield, Connecticut, New Canaan, New Haven, New Hartford, wherever that's at. I mean, up there where I'm at, but I mean, it's way up there. So I mean, people volunteering and giving us donations. Gently used gowns, I mean, beautiful gowns. And then we have, the majority of them have tags on them. And I had boutiques that, especially Classic Brides by Eva in Stratford, she donated a bunch of gowns. These two organizations in Westport, and actually they're both in Westport, they donated a bunch of gowns. They actually they hosted their own prom gown donation site. So I went and picked up last week 650 gowns and brought it back here, including shoes and jewelry. So thinking about this, you know, with the pandemic and everything going back to normal again, I just decided that, you know what, let's do this prom thing. You know, dresses are so expensive. And I was talking to a cousin recently, and she was telling me that her daughter's ticket, one ticket for her daughter's prom was $200. I'm like, oh my God, that's unheard of. You know, so I'm like, you know, let's do this prom gown thing. Let's give these young ladies a beautiful gown. Let them feel amazing for free. Everything is free. Shoes, free. Pocketbooks, free. Jewelry. We have some makeup. I mean, you name it, we have it. If you walk away with nothing, then shame on you. Because I'm telling you, there are dresses here for every sizes, from 0 to 20 to size 20. I mean, I have dresses for everybody, including chaperones, teachers, anyone having a sweet 16, sweet 15, come on down. I got big gowns too. I have wedding gowns. You name it, I have it. So now we're not only extending it out to just high school and 8th graders, so I also have 8th grade dresses. We're also extending it to whoever needs a gown to go to some event, because that's how many dresses we have. Right now we have approximately 1,500 dresses. So if you get married,
so if somebody want to get married, they
I'm on down.
if Kingsley need an extra dress, I don't know.
Oh wow.
Just saying, dude. He says a lot of love to go around. She said, I got a lot of dresses to go with that love.
Listen, I can't come back with any of these dresses because the captain will make me move.
I'm gonna have to pull a Will Smith and smack him right over the computer.
Oh gosh, you got me.
I'm gonna have to.
Ain't gonna get me, man.
You can't make jokes these days. So.
I'm just saying, man. You said you got
before
love.
I get into that, I'm gonna want to have at least 5 minutes to talk about that because you know that thing right there. You know, I put up my own post that I'm looking forward to talking about it on the program today because I think somebody need to put Oscars in a hot seat because they endorsed violence, and we're gonna talk about that. For me, everybody's going at Will Smith and everything. That's all good, but that platform belongs to the Oscars. And they condoned violence. For them to watch somebody smack one of their employee. He was Chris Rock was an employee to them that day. And for somebody to walk up that stage, smack him, and nobody sending a security to this guy see like he was above the law, like he was a king. I didn't like that.
Back to prom dresses, man.
But we're gonna talk about that. Let's get back to
that was a good deflection though.
No, I mean, you know,
you got love. She got extra prom dresses.
I'm looking forward to talking about that because we are always talking to our youth, and that's going to be a part of my program with our Agents of Change today. These kids are aware of this incident right now, and for them to feel like you could just smack somebody on the stage and be awarded later on, and everybody laughing, no, that is not cool. That's not gangster. Let's get back to
it is gangster. He
so
did gangster slap him.
So, to my knowledge, New Haven is also invited to this. You know, let's broaden it. How can people reach out? How can people reach out to be?
Okay, so there's a registration form. I mean, you don't have to register, but we just so if you go on Evites. There's different dates. So if you put in Cinderella's Closet, there's April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. April 1st, we're open 5 to 8. April 2nd, 10 to 6. And April 3rd, which is Sunday, which is the last day, which I'm hoping everything is gone, 11 to 3. Yes, right there. So right there, they could hit on that link and they could register on there. And if anyone wants to volunteer, which is all the way at the bottom, there's also a volunteer link as well.
So where do they go to hit that link? Exactly what website do they go? Is it a social media page? Is it a website? Where do they go?
It goes to Evite.
Okay.
To the Evite website.
So they can go to Evite website. If they go to Evite website, what do they type in to find?
They just type in their name and how many people are going to be attending with them.
No, my point is people need to find a location to where to find a link. So when they open up their computer and go www, where do they start from? Are they going to social media page to find this Evite? Are they going
is it on the Bridgeport Police Department?
So it's on this flyer that you have right now posted. The link is right there. All 3 links. Actually, all 4 links. Okay. They're all there. So they could sign up there. So if I believe if you hit that link, it'll go directly to either the sign up genie for the volunteers or to the Evite. So everything is right on this flyer.
Okay. Okay. So where can they find the flyer itself for a lot more information? Where is the flyer posted right now? Is it posted on the website? Is it on the city's website? Is it on the Bridgeport Police Department Facebook page? Where is the flyer?
Yes. So it's on the Bridgeport Police Department Facebook page, as well as the Bridgeport Police Community Services page, and the Bridgeport Police DARE page as well.
Okay. Is it on the city website?
I'm not sure if it's on the city website. I know we sent it to them, but I know that it was posted on the Bridgeport Police one. Okay.
Okay. Now, my next question is, you know, no idea is original. I did give this girl a call today, this woman a call, Camilla's Closet. I'm not sure if you could see it. Can you see it? Or we are still looking at the old flyer?
Yeah, we're still
Okay, so she have, let me end it and come back on. She have this event that she does every year as well. And are you familiar with this event?
No. No.
Okay, that's different.
Can you send me that flyer?
That's Eastern. I did send it to you already.
Okay, let me look here.
Yes, I did.
Let me see. Let me check the other one.
That's a different event. That's Eastern.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was an Easter event.
That's Easter event, man.
So yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with this stuff that goes on. We sometimes, I think, we're trying to reinvent the wheel, whether it's to your knowledge or not. But for me, being a grassroots organization, we always need a machine behind us. These machines such as the Bridgeport Police Community Service Department. And we do want to talk about that because you guys do, especially you are involved with it in a lot of stuff. And when people start talking about defund the police, I was not for the language defund the police because I think it was improperly used. Those funds needed to go into certain places such as what you do. You say you now do mental health as a part of what you do within the community service. That community service was shut down at one point. Let's talk about that.
Oh no, it was it was not shut down.
What
happened was I was
You mean that means you're about to lie, right? When you say what happened?
Yeah, man.
No.
Come on.
Shut down. Somebody else decided to post, or somebody from I'm not gonna mention his name, but he said that it was disbanded. It wasn't. What happened was one of the ladies from permits was leaving on maternity leave, and I was sent over there to work until she returned. And then so what happened was I just posted on my page telling people, hey, hold off. I'm not going to be in community services at this moment because I'm being transferred to another division. So my thing was, don't expect me to come and pick up the old medications and stuff like that, and so there's different things that we do out of this office. So I wanted to tell people, if I'm not returning your phone call, this is why. I am at this location temporarily, and then I'm going to return. So that's what happened, and then people started assuming that the unit was disbanded. It was not disbanded because I'm here. I'm back here. She came back, and then I left, and I came back to my position.
So that whole big thing about the community service department was shut down was not true?
No.
And that makes you go,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I recall giving you a call because an incident that happened. We was on the phone for like a good half hour. I called you on your private time. You wasn't even on the clock. About a parent that had called me that their son had a stolen car outside the house, and he wanted me to get a police officer to, get down there and pick up the car, and the kid was still in the house. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. That was a while ago, yeah.
It was a while ago. That's when you told me that you wasn't even in the department anymore. And,
yeah.
You had been transferred.
Mm-hmm.
Shafiq, a parent called me that her son had a stolen car outside the house. And not only she needed the car to be picked up, she wanted me to get them to really come get her son because he's out to self-destruct. He's scared his son may be dead or in jail. And so we needed to, to get him picked up, but not picked up directly to jail type of stuff. And I did call a few people. Officer Sandy was one of the people that I called, and we was on the phone for like a good half hour just talking about this whole incident, and her trying to direct me to some people that I could talk to since she's not in that department anymore. Yeah, eventually they did go down there. They did pick up the car. His son got himself jammed up. They were just all over the place, stealing cars. Just recklessly terrorizing the city, and the mother was just fearful for her life. So you talk about community policing. This is what that community policing is. That police officer, and I believe Shafiq, you did the same during your time. That police officer that's picking up their phone, listening to the problem of the community, the parent or whatever. Not trying to lock that kid up right away, keeping it off record, trying to find a way to help before, if they have to lock the kid up, then they have to do what they have to do. let's talk about your department, what your department is doing right now, everything that you guys are involved with.
Our division?
Yes.
So our division, so I'm more in charge of the youth. That's more my forte. So like I do the DARE program, the coordinator as well as the instructor. I am the director of the Bridgeport Police Cadet Program, which is also kids between the ages of 13 and 21. And a lot of those kids have graduated our program, have gone to college. Others have gone to the military, and others have joined the police department and the state. As a matter of fact, one of the former explorers, not one of mine per se out of this office, but another one from another town, graduated, and she just became a state trooper. We also we do the food patrol on the go. So we have a community pantry downstairs. Mm-hmm. So we go out and we bring down boxes of food to people that need food, whether it's the elderly or someone who's getting from coming off the streets. I just did that last week for a friend. You know, one of I guess I want to say one of the people that he took off the street ended up getting them an apartment, and he needed food. So I went downstairs, I got a box, collected, and I ran over there and I dropped it off, and he was so grateful. So we have that here as well. Like I said, no one's ever called me for it, but I've done it, where it's the critical incident for the youth. Anytime there's a traumatic event, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here to talk to anybody's kid, especially if they're not going the right direction. I do teach at schools. I teach fentanyl. I teach social media, the dangers of social media, alcohol, drugs. What else? I teach a bunch of stuff. And anti-bullying. I also do classes for parents, sexual harassment, which is the latest thing, which is the craziest thing that I've heard. I've done already 3 classes on sexual harassment in different schools for kids, which is the craziest thing. But like I said, we do a bunch of stuff here. At one point in time, we did Dress for Success, but we had to change the name. And we had suits from both male and female. And at one time I started the program, but it didn't really kick off as I anticipated, because the whole plan was to have people come down, pick out suits. Let me tell you, I had millions of suits. Pick out suits. I had people from Sacred Heart University ready and prepared to show people how to do resumes, put resumes together, and I was also going to do mock interviews with them, because I used to be a regional and I used to be a district manager for Macy's department stores, but I was director of security. So I knew how to do the interviews, and I wanted to teach people how to do a good interview, how to conduct themselves during an interview, and how to dress and how to speak.
But as I hear you talk about Dress for Success and mock interview, et cetera, et cetera. I think that is the workplace does all of that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, and when we first did that, I remember getting the phone call from the people from Dress for Success. They're like, "Hey, I was like, oh, I didn't know." I mean, this is when we first came here. So like this was it was a culture shock, because now we had to learn our way around and our way around the community, because now we're working on a different level. We're not in patrol anymore where we're taking calls every 2 seconds. Now we're actually in the community, dealing with the community. So we had to build our own we had to network. And
I think it's very important, and you know, because you've been on the roundtable initiative, the meeting we have at the mayor's office, conference room every month, which we haven't been having on the ground by via Zoom. You know that bringing all the resources together to work collaboratively is is very important. So when you have a resource such as the Bridgeport Police Department, and you have all these grassroots organizations who doesn't really have the resource, it's very important to partner together and not to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
Just to get things done. I think you know better. Matter of fact, I'm going to invite you to, I hope you look in your calendar for next Wednesday, 4 p.m. I'm going to invite you to our Agency Change program to come present to the kids. We have a lot of students from Capital Prep. We just finished our first cohort, which is violence prevention. We're about to go into our leadership for another 10 weeks, but we're still mixing them together. So you're talking about sexual harassment. It's a sexual harassment month going on. So yeah, we want to invite you to come down and talk about police brutality, sexual harassment, and even defunding the police. Because, like I said, people didn't understand the word defunding the police. We did that last year, and we would like to touch on it again, just so that these kids and their parents understand, what that means. So even our program, Agency Change, is managed by the Bridgeport Police Department.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you talk about defunding the police, I don't like that word.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Shafiq, you wanna comment?
So I know you keep saying it, so I'm gonna keep the show happy. Almost 99% of the people that wanted police reform under the whole defund the police concept wanted the police defunded.
Mm-hmm.
They just did not understand what it would mean and what the long-term effects were. Mm-hmm. So I'm not letting anybody off the hook who, it's like, oh, it wasn't about defund the police. It was about defund the police. It was absolutely about cutting police budgets because they were too high, and people felt like if you take less money, if you take more money from them, then they'll on concept stop beating up Black, Hispanic, Latino people. The reality is, good, bad, or different, no matter how we now as Americans want to walk back our perspective, the concept of defunding the police has sent a cease and desist letter to community policing. No police department in the United States of America right now has the ability to do community policing, let alone really trying to focus on doing this. I'm just going to put that out there as a context. We probably have to have that in another show.
Yeah.
But you can't have both. You can't have defund the police and community policing sharing the same space.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's impossible. You said something earlier. You said, it's not like when you go and call a call. Now you get a chance to work with the kids. Well, when you defund the police, all you have is call policing.
Yeah.
That's all you have, because you have less money, less cops, less enthusiasm, less everything.
Sure.
But we commend you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
This is what I would tell you. People can do 1,000 of the same things that police do when it comes to things like community involvement, but it's just something about when a cop does it, it magnifies it.
It does.
So, never take for granted how powerful that badge can be when it comes to being an agent of change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because it's a powerful tool. And, a smile, a wonderful personality like you have.
Thank you.
And so excited and enthusiastic. That's really all it takes, man. You know the deal. You show up with these people again, they're going to hell in a handbasket, whatever. I know them all. I know Pookie and his cousin, Payday and Tie-Dye, and they all was drug users. And we already know that game, right? This is not The Wire, and this is not a place for amateur night for cops to try to play out their Wire fantasies. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'm just gonna ask you. This is my ask to you. Be a leader. And when I tell you be a leader, I mean, really start looking back at your career and ask yourself, tomorrow, if you're not an officer, that legacy that your father built through you and that legacy that you are now building through others, who's the person and people coming behind you that will hold that flag when you walk away? That's what I'm gonna put it out there. Because if you can answer that question, you truly will be a change agent. Kingsley, my brother.
I'm gonna sign off what do you call it, social media, and then we could probably, if she have 10-15 minutes to spare, we will go for till at least 12.
Put you on a double barrel.
And then I'm going to come back and talk about the Explorer program, because I have utilized them for quite some time, and they do come very handy. So let's do a station ID, sign up on the radio, and then I'll get back on social media. This is the Urban Talk Radio 103.5 FM, WNHHLP. I am your host, Kingsley Ossei, and my co-host, Shafiq. And if you are just joining us in the last part of our show, you can follow the conversation on Facebook at Bold Minds and Twitter at Bold Minds. Also on my Facebook page, Kingsley Ossei. Also on New Haven Independent Facebook page. On this particular show, you can also check it out on Bridgeport Police Department Facebook page. You can also stream this show and previous shows on your smartphone or computer by logging on to newhavenindependent.org. Thank you for joining us. Remember, Urban Talk Radio airs every Wednesday, 11 a.m. And in the studio today, we have Officer Sandy Quinonez of Bridgeport Police Department Community Service Department. Now, we were talking about the Bridgeport Explorers program, which is now the cadet program, right?
Yes.
So I know you mentioned it a little bit, but let's really go brief into it. Shafiq, I'm not sure if you are familiar with these students, but I have utilized them for.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Okay, I have utilized them for back to school programs that I've done with our what do you call it? Our annual youth summit at Houston Community College for our hip hop expression, the Black History program at the City Hall. I mean, these kids really, let's talk about them. What this program is really, really all about.
All right, so it was formed 11 years ago by my former partner. He just retired.
What's his name?
Sergeant Gabe Mazzaros.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so he retired back in November. And so we have kids between, like I said, between the ages of 13, 21, kids that aspire to go into law enforcement. Some just want to communicate with other kids and want to hang out with other kids, and we do a lot of fun things here. But they also learn respect. They also learn how to deal with the public.
Yes.
They also learn how to deal with law enforcement. They know how to apply the law. So they get taught a range of things. They work in a community. Not only do they work in our community, but they also work in other communities. They've worked in Fairfield, they've worked in Trumbull, they worked in Orange with other cadet programs. And they have competitions every year where they win awards and trophies, and everything that they have learned from us, they apply it at mock events. So let's say if it's a SWAT event, like I'm in charge of the SWAT program for the kids. And it's all done with airsoft guns and stuff like that. It's not real guns. That's only at the Explorer Academy or the Cadet Academy. But they learn all these things and then they use it. So then when it comes time for college, so when the kids come in through my door, that's the first thing I say. Okay, these are your two options, and I always tell them right off the bat. Your two options are college or military. You're doing one or the other. You're not gonna sit here and stay here from the ages of 13 to 21 and not do nothing. You're going to one or the other. And all of our kids have gone either, like I said, to the military or have gone to college and received their degrees, whether it's a bachelor's degree, whether it's a master's degree, they have received degrees. And I've always said to them, if you're gonna be a part of our program, you have to have at least a C average. If I see it slipping, we're going to counsel you and we're gonna help you to raise that grade. If we see it again, then there's a problem. There's something either going on at home or something going on at school. So we always keep that open communication with these kids, because a lot of these kids, they need someone to talk to. My phone is on 20, I have two phones. I have the city phone and I have my personal phone. The kids get both. There's they cannot say they couldn't contact me. They have both numbers.
Right.
So if they're having some type of crisis, I'm the first one that they call.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we get through it together. Whether it's, you know, they're getting in trouble with their mom or their dad, brother and sister, some domestic craziness going on, or, you know, something with law enforcement. I mean, we tell them. And then we also say, if we find out that you got stopped by law enforcement, and then they come back to us and they tell us, we're going to have a conversation about this.
I mean, it seems like a circle of, you know, we share this, you know, it's the same thing we tell the students in our program as we're trying to pitch the program to them as far as their family, that, hey, we do have the resources, whether it's the police officer, whether it's my friend, whether it's my sister, Terry Williams at the workplace, like, because I always say, if we don't employ them, the streets will employ them. And, you know, we do tell them that, hey, you know, this program is not just a program. You become a family into this program. So it's not like you come here 4 to 6 p.m. and then that's it. We are, you know, a phone call away. You get in trouble, give us a call. I may be able to use my resources to call Officer Sandy or Captain Lonnie or this person and see what we could do to get you out of the situation and make sure that it's not repeated. So I think it's, you know, well, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but for our organization, Connecticut Against Violence, we came up as bridging the cultures of law enforcement and the community while preventing violence and promoting justice. So everything that we've done, whether it was through the schools or through the community, to make sure that we had a law enforcement officer on the stage with us to let the community know that, or let the kids know that all police officers are not jerks.
Exactly.
There are some police officers that have to go home to their family that look just like you, and they do care. You know.
And it's funny that you say that. Like, I go to a lot of these schools and I talk to a bunch of kids. I talk to middle school, high school, college. And I always tell them, here's my number. You have a problem, I'm here for you. You know, you're having a bad day, I'm here for you. Okay, I'm not a jerk. You don't have to call me Officer Quinonez, you call me Officer Sandy. You make it simple, you know, and I always leave them my numbers, and I always tell them, you know, my phone is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here are my numbers. If you're going through a crisis, if you're getting, you know, a little stressed out, depressed or whatever, I'm here. I'm here for you. And believe it or not, kids are like, oh my goodness, you're really nice. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a jerk.
But look, I have to ask you this question from, you know, when you started until now. Sometimes it looked like when you are running the clock, you turn not to care anymore. Where, in other words, sometimes as you're running the clock, it becomes more of a passion where you're like, you know what, I'm willing to help instead of, you know, I remember this police officer that used to be in the Greens, white dude that, damn, I can't remember his name. Pete, you remember Pete that used to ride a horse? Pete. He used to ride the horse and motorcycles. He used to be in downtown. He used to be the guy that used to patrol in downtown. When I used to have the record store in Alkemore, he used to be down there. I think so, Italian guy, Pete.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mentioned Pete because Pete was one of those police officers that, you know, Shafiq, I mean, we talk about that. You know, we're dealing with kids that hardly can put food on their table, but you will give them tickets to pay for the silliest thing. And when they can't pay that ticket, it end up becoming an incarceration, losing their license, losing this. You end up destroying a life for a kid that don't even have it. Instead of community policing, trying to talk to that kid, trying to talk to the parent, you know. And P was one of those guys, and you know, regardless how white he was or how Italian he was like us. He had our community's best interest. So as your clock is running out, you know, I'm not sure between then and now, because you seem to be very passionate about your position and so willing. Sometimes these positions are not given to people that really deserves it, or that really, you know, it's given to them, and they don't do it with the passion in their heart.
Exactly. And that's my thing. Like, you know, I love dealing with kids, and especially the older ones. And I'm not quick to arrest. Okay. You know, I will counsel you until I turn blue in the face. But, you know, but at any point, if it just gets too out of hand, then we got to do what we got to do. But I give you that chance, you know. So one thing, when I was in permits, I learned, right, that There was one person that was trying to apply for a permit, couldn't get one because he claimed he never got arrested. Well, he got arrested when he was 15 or 16 years old, and his attorney had told him that it would go away after he was an adult. Well, that's not true because it popped up, and then he ended up getting denied. And then so like now I go to these schools and I tell these kids that don't believe everything you hear.
Right.
Just because you're a kid, you can get arrested and you think it's gonna go away. No, it does not go away. It will never go away. So any job that you want to get later on in life, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to explain that. And then you got to jump through hoops trying to get cleared and expunged and all this other stuff. It's too much. It's too much money. So I always tell the kids, make smart choices now, so we don't have to deal. So you don't have to deal with it later on when it's time. When you're an adult and you're ready to be a man or a woman and you're ready to get into a family and all that. You want to have a good job. You want to have a good life. And you don't want to have that skeleton in the background.
So I would like to take this few minutes before we get off. Like we said, we're going to sign off exactly at 12:15 to kind of talk about the incident. This what do you call it? This Oscar, Chris Rock, and what do you call it? Before I do that, let me give a big shout out to my brother Jesus R, whom we use his video, April Showers music video with Wyclef. We used it to run programs for a very long time. He started as G4C, Guns for Camera, which was a model that we took as Connecticut Against Violence to use, because he was shot at the age of 22 times with a 22 caliber gun. He was a Lion King member, and when he came out of the hospital, he did not retaliate. Retaliation, we tell the kids, retaliation is why there's a nonstop violence. He didn't retaliate. Instead, he picked up the camera and taught himself how to use it, and now he's a film director. As a matter of fact, he's about to open a $5 million film school in Yonkers. It's called SIC, S-I-C, Social Impact Content. If you Google social impact content, you will have an idea of what this school will be all about. And yesterday, the mayor used his program as part of his State of the City speech yesterday. So the mayor of New York City embraced it. That school will be opening soon. Matter of fact,
is he putting money behind it?
Well, nobody wants to help you when you are giving them
hard,
the idea.
man.
Nobody want to help you if you come up with the idea, but they only step in when the idea is really coming into fruition. That's the only time politicians get behind you, like, oh, you was really for real, So he's doing it privately. This is not even, now, it's all these partnerships coming in from the government, which is great. Jesus is a very good friend of mine, very humble guy. I'm not sure if you ever met him. He will be presenting in the program next week. He presents to us every year. He's been to my youth summits. Our first youth summit at the church at Cathedral of the Holy Spirit. He was right there with Big Pon's wife and everybody else. So I do applaud him, and he's very, very great guy. Now, let's talk about that incident. So Will Smith ran up on stage, smack up a comedian and an actor such as himself, and call it protecting his wife. Kareem Abdul have written an article. I'm going to text it to you, Officer Sandy, and I'll text it to Shafiq as well. Read it as its entirety. And I'm going to actually, my wife is our curriculum director for Agency Change, and she's going to put the agenda together, and we're going to dissect everything that he wrote just to run that 2-hour program today. All the kids are talking about it. And he made a point that, he so-called himself protecting his wife, and he feels like it's an insult to women to the point that they cannot, speak for themselves. That you have to protect your wife in the form of being violent to somebody else. And like I said, my problem is not so much with him. It's so much the fact that the academy gave him the platform to smack one of their employees for the night, goes back, sit down, no security sent to him. And somebody even said that if he had smacked the white dude, I bet you he wouldn't have went out there and sit down there, peacefully without him sending a security officer at him. That's the other stuff that, I heard. But he did that and then comes back and take an award only to cry out to be the victim of this, what he just did. Officer Sandy, what is your take on that?
So well, I mean, on both sides, I'm not saying one was better than the other, because especially with women, some women are going through this hard time with whatever it may be, whether it's what she has, or somebody has like breast cancer or something, they lose a part of their body or something. So yeah, maybe Chris Rock should have been a little bit more careful of what he said. But then also you have to take into consideration he's a comedian. Right. So you're open. Right. You're open to.
It's open. Open.
But then at the same token, she didn't say anything. She just gave him the look. She didn't say nothing. She didn't cry. She didn't run off. She didn't do anything. She stood her ground. She was like, all right, Will, on the other hand, should have at least waited for the show to be over, a commercial break, pull him aside and say, hey, you know what? I didn't appreciate that.
Thanks, Harry. That's the article. Yeah, and Officer Sandy, if you looked at Will's face, he was actually smiling at the joke to begin with.
Yeah.
He was laughing. He was not smiling. He was laughing at the joke.
Exactly. And then it switched. And then next thing you know, it's like this thing erupted, and he got up and smacked him. And he held it down. Chris Rock held it down, because if that were me, somebody's putting their hand on me, it's on, but he held it down. He was professional. Will, on the other hand, didn't look so good, and then for him to accept that award and start with the tears, that was an Academy Award winning.
Playing the victim.
Yes. Yeah, but at the end of the day, if she didn't say anything, she just gave him the look and just like, hey, okay. But for Will to just jump up and then go and do that, he was completely wrong.
I want to bring Shafiq in on it, but when I had this conversation with my wife last night about putting this agenda together, I said, it's so much we can talk about it, but let's steer it into many different directions. Let's steer it into social media. Let's steer it into leadership, and then the violence part of it. So let's cover all three. One, as far as leadership, I feel, the leadership of the Academy failed. The leadership of Will Smith supposed to be a leader. He's a leader in comedy. He's a leader in A-list actor. Mm-hmm. That failed. Then the violence part of it is the fact that, the Academy, condoned the violence. The social media part of it is, for me, I felt like when it first happened, when I heard it, I said, is this some type of publicity stunt? Because this just can't be real. It just can't be real, to the fact that he took that smack. No security was sent to Will. And after, nobody cared about the Academy. And then all of a sudden, the whole world is talking about it. So I said, let's cover all three parts of it and dissect it. Shafiq, what's your take on it? We got 2 minutes to say.
Oh, I got a whole 2 minutes.
Listen. Well, no, go ahead. I just want to.
A whole 2 minutes. Thank you. Kingsley gave me 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
1.4.
When you finish.
Listen, man, here's the thing. Number one, this is a dispute between millionaires. This ain't got nothing to do with the average everyday person, black, white, or Hispanic. That's number one. This is a dispute against millionaires. And the reality is, every single day in North America, somebody is getting shot and killed over a dispute that involves a relationship, whether it's somebody dating somebody, somebody's wife, interpartner, domestic relationships. We have seen and witnessed how young boys, young men often, that are often white, have walked into theaters and shopping malls and synagogues and have murdered people with a handgun. And then the excuse and the defense by the news and others who want to sign on was, oh, they were having a mental issue, or they had some kind of rare, undetected mental breakdown and all stuff. 2 millionaires decide that they want to act out and role play out their dispute on national television, what the hell that's got to do with the young black boys in New Haven and Bridgeport, Fairfield County, and other parts of Connecticut? I don't care. That's what I'm gonna tell you. I don't care. Number one, I don't even like the Oscars, the Grammys, and none of this other stuff anyway. They never really did nothing for black people. They just started putting us on since Black Lives Matter because they want to boost up their ratings in the first place. So they throw a couple of token things here. Oh, the first this, and oh, it's such a bad night because what Will did overshadowed the other black man that got 2 millionaires, got into a dispute. The one with the most money slapped the other one. True story. The one with the most money felt that he had the ability to go slap the other person. That's money. That's wealth. That's generational wealth at its finest. Got nothing to do with us. Whether he slapped a white man or Puerto Rican, it don't matter. Here's the other thing. I'm gonna keep it real. You take a risk when you talk about somebody's spouse. Whether you're a comedian, whether you're a politician, whether you're on the news, whether you're on the moon. You get into somebody's life in a situation where they have a relationship with somebody that they're living with every day, and you don't know all of the details, tread lightly. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Tread lightly.
Well, we will agree.
Because this ain't gonna be the last time. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna leave you like this too. What you saw happen on TV, gonna happen in another platform. Because somebody in America gotta one up this. So you saw the appetizer. But the real dinner is going to come on another platform. This is going to be a thing. We're America. This is how we operate.
Well, we will agree to disagree on that because I look at it past two rich folks. We are out here doing a job of violence prevention, trying to teach the kids that there's a better way. So if two wealthier guys is on TV on the world stage portraying that entertainers being able to go on stage and knock somebody down just because he says something that you don't like, and then the academy
Most of the state watches the legislative session unfold. Just a half mile from the state capitol building, the important work of running Hartford happens at City Hall. Majority Leader T.J. Clark of the City Council joins the Municipal Voice to talk about what priorities are in the capital city and how they might differ from those at the Capitol building. We'd like to thank our premier sponsor, Digital Back Office Palo Alto Networks. Check them out at digitalbackoffice.com or paloaltonetworks.com. The Municipal Voice is the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities podcast in collaboration with WNHH LP 103.5 FM. I'm your host, Matt Ford. As always, be sure to give us a like and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. CCM's Municipal Voice podcast continues to present a key forum on important state and local issues. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the consensus views of CCM or member municipal leaders.
Councilman Clark, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Matt. I look forward to speaking with you, and thank you for the invite.
So with Connecticut's 169 towns, there's a lot of history behind all of them and different kind of structures for government. New Haven, we have Board of Aldermen, a lot of towns have Boards of Selectmen, and you are on the City Council. How does a City Council work in Hartford, and what does a councilman do on that board?
The City of Hartford operates under a strong mayor form of government, and so the council is the legislative branch of the City of Hartford. Before the charter was changed, the council, there was a strong mayor and city manager form of government where the council ran the day-to-day operations and the city manager reported to the council. So the mayor runs the day-to-day operations, and so the council's sole responsibility is the being the policy, creating policy for the city of Hartford. So any type of legislative issues that the mayor seeks to enact by way of an ordinance, the council has to approve it. His department head nominations have to come to the council for approval. Also, too, regarding the budget is more so the council's main responsibility, and so that's where most of our powers are invoked in our charter. So it is our responsibility to, once the mayor presents his proposed budget, we go through it, we dissect it, we are able to shift some things around. We cannot increase what he has already placed on the table, but again, we can shift some things around, take from one area and provide to another, as long as it's balanced. And then we present